Hello and welcome back to Desperate Living, Cultural Chaos and Forgotten Stories. Recently we've been down a bit of a Temu rabbit hole. Idle curiosity quickly leading to a fascination with the bizarre world of the odd and unusual that you do tend to find populating that particular site. Now I know that there's a YouTube subculture of people buying things from Temu and other sites like AliExpress, Wish, even Amazon, with the hope that they will be shoddy, inferior knockoffs, or even dangerous. Well, whatever it takes to get those views, I guess. But given that we're not monetized and we don't have big Patreon followings, I can't afford to simply buy crap for internet clout. Beyond that, there often seems to be more than a bit of snobbery in this mockery, a bit like sneering at people for buying Tesco Basics instead of Heinz Beans, or kids bullying a classmate for not having the latest iPhone. It seems rather disingenuous to buy stuff that you know is going to be inferior and then complain that it is inferior. That seems especially true when it comes to electricals and the like. Temu is clearly not the place to buy a new phone or video camera, and I think we know that already. What's the point of doing so just to snark at the site as a whole and, by default, snark at the people that use it? I haven't bought a single thing on Temu because I expect it to be garbage. Everything I bought, I've hoped will be what I want it to be. Admittedly, sometimes the level of hope isn't set very high, but I always want it to at least do what it's supposed to do and to look more or less like it does on the site listing. And you know what? I bought 56 items on Temu so far, mainly because of the minimum order limits, but only a few of them have been disappointing or substandard. And to be honest, I might be being a bit picky on a couple of those. You'll see one or two of them in a moment and you can decide for yourselves. Clearly, I'm not going to take you through all 56 purchases. Most of those are rather prosaic household goods, not really of interest to anybody. But I've also bought a few horror movie related, or at least horror themed items, and we're going to have a look at those. Starting with the shirt I'm wearing right now. As regular viewers will know, I'm a big fan of Jaws and a collector of Jaws related novelties, so this shirt was obviously a must-have item. I suspect that this is not an official Jaws product, but let's not let that spoil things. I also have a bit of a fascination with knockoff and unlicensed products, and this looks great with its mix of Jaws specific slogans like amity means friendship and here's to swimming with bow-legged women, alongside random aquatic skulls. Now this is a polyester shirt that feels a little bit like a shower curtain, and while it's lightweight and comfortable to wear in general, I did make the mistake of going out in this on the hottest day of the year, and it is not a cooling fabric, so bear that in mind. Otherwise, full marks for this. And now for a quick change. And here we have another Jaws shirt. One that's rather less impressive, I'm afraid. This t-shirt has a print that is not exactly sharp. It feels like it comes from artwork that may have been sourced from the internet, which it probably has. From a distance it probably looks okay, but as Jaws t-shirts go, it's not exactly the best. It does have an all-over print, which is something I suppose. But for those of you with a preference for cotton t-shirts, and I imagine that's all of us, you'll be startled to find that this is actually a polyester spandex combo, which at least takes us back to the 1970s. It's not hugely uncomfortable, but it feels more like a pyjama top, and I guess that's what I'll end up using it as. It cost bugger all, so I can't complain too much, and in truth, this was one of those products that was bought more in hope than expectation. So, in that sense, I got what I paid for. From shirts to socks. Everybody needs socks, so why not wear socks featuring your favourite movie characters? A few years ago I bought several pairs of official Hammer Horror movie socks that were being sold at clearance. Of course, they've been worn away over time. Socks are generally not made to last for more than a couple of years, it seems. So Temu's selection of horror socks appealed to me greatly and were certainly cheap enough to take a chance on. They're a mixed bag, as you'll see, but let's start off with the most impressive. So here we have a pair of Friday the 13th themed socks. There's Jason in a little bloodstained circle, and you can see that these are at least properly woven socks, which isn't always the case, as we're going to come to in a few moments. But yeah, I mean, they're pretty basic design, nothing spectacular, but they're certainly every bit as good as the hammer socks that I'd had previously. And here, similarly, we have Halloween socks with Michael Myers on. Both socks, the image is at the front of the foot, or if you say in the Friday the 13th socks, at the kind of the top of the calf. But again, you know, very nice, very comfortable. The best pair, which I'm actually modelling here, so you have a feel for what they look like on a foot. Another Friday the 13th set, but a bit more extravagantly patterned, and great fun. I have to say that these are, you know, very comfortable. You know, they're socks basically at the end of the day. There's not a lot I can really say about them. But if we compare them to the other pair that I got, we can certainly see the difference. This is a pair of socks printed with various horror characters' faces, and as you can see, these are literally just printed socks. They're essentially sublimated or similar. So the image is kind of inky and certainly vibrant, but it doesn't look like it's going to be something that will last for several washes, has to be said, and a bit smeared. Similarly in style, I suppose, to the Jaws t-shirt we looked at earlier. The image is okay, but a bit cluttered, and as you can see, when they're actually on, they get stretched very thinly, and you can see the white background coming through. So you get what you pay for, I suppose, but these were actually the same price, if not slightly more expensive than the other socks. Let's move on to something more fun. Yes, it's a hopping vampire, Mr. Vampire, you might think. And as you can see with this, it's a little wind-up toy and comes complete with a removable Fulu talisman that you can put on his head. Obviously, technically he shouldn't be moving with it on his head, but never mind. You see his head moves and his arms lift up and down. And as you'll see, he does actually hop after a fashion. It's quite impressive. There's another kind available as well, which of course I bought. Rather more basic in style. This one is a walking vampire, shall we say, rather than a hopping vampire. You see it's got a little wobbly head, but it's a little shorter, a little stouter, and it's one solid piece, so the arms don't come down, just the wobbly head moves. But the pair of them are great little novelty items if you're a fan of Hong Kong horror and hopping vampires, Mr. Vampire and so on. You can see the pair of them there side by side, and nice little contrast, but also a nice little pair. And now we move from Hong Kong horror to J horror with a couple of familiar ghostly figures who you'll see me essentially struggling to place onto this glass. They are designed to sit on the side of a glass. I'm not quite sure why, but as I'm sure you've recognised already, these are figures from The Grudge, Ju-on, the original Japanese version of the film. And quite what they're for is anybody's guess. As I say, they're designed to sit on the side of a glass and hang on, so you need a fairly thin one, maybe one slightly thinner than the one I had there, but you can see that they're nicely detailed little characters, well put together, tiny, much tinier than I expected them to be, but that's entirely my fault for not reading the dimensions and not paying enough attention to how big something was going to be if it was designed to sit on the edge of a glass. As I say, I don't quite know what you're meant to do with them beyond that. Probably very little. You certainly can't drink out of the glass while they're on there. Wouldn't be very sensible unless you had them glued down. Even then, that seems a bit foolish. So I guess they're just designed to sit and look cool, clambering out of a little drinks tumbler. As you can see, that they're a little awkward, easily knocked, but once you've got them on, they're fairly solid, so I can turn them round, I can wave them about. They don't necessarily fall over straight away, but yes, you don't want to bang them. Next, we're into the world of Universal Monsters with the Universal Monsters Tarot deck, which is quite a nice little selection. As you'll see on the back and all around the side, it's considered a tarot deck plus 128-page book. There is no evidence of a book anywhere to be found. Obviously, there was one written by Casey Gilly and illustrated by Joe Wilson, but I imagine by the time these came onto the Temu market, the book was long gone, and this is remaining stock of the cards. Or not. If you know any better, please tell me in the comments. I'd be interested to know if anybody's actually seen the book, knows what it is. As you can see, these are illustrations based around the Universal Horror Classics. Not, I suspect, licensed by Universal. There's certainly no reference to Universal Pictures anywhere on the box. But does that really matter for something like this? It's not like they've actually lifted stills or anything. These are original illustrations inspired by, based on. I mean, I have to say that I'm not a particular fan or enthusiast of tarot cards in general. You know, I don't do tarot readings. It's not something that I have any real interest in. But I do like a nice card collection, and these are very nice. Temu has a lot of different tarot cards available. Whatever you're into, whether it's kitsch or camp or cartoonish or monstrous or traditional, you'll probably find very affordable sets on there. So this is a nice little package. I think even if you have no interest in tarot, this is a nice package of classic horror inspired illustrations, and certainly well worth picking up. Last but certainly not least, what do we have here in this cardboard box and polystyrene packaging? Well, check this out. It's the Krampus Christmas decoration. Isn't that just fantastic? Obviously some kind of 3D model resin Krampus figure holding a couple of children who, has to be said, look rather too excited to be kidnapped by the Krampus, but who wouldn't be? And you can see it's fairly nicely detailed. It's painted with just the right amount of detail and just the right amount of sloppiness to give it a kind of unique feel. It's the kind of thing that doesn't feel like it's a mass-produced item, though of course that's exactly what it is. It just seems weirdly eccentric, even down to the strange wording on the back that has the feel of something that's been AI generated. So, a curious little item, but who wouldn't want a Krampus hanging from their Christmas tree? And I have to say that as Krampuses go, this one certainly is quite an impressive, demonic looking figure. Nicely hairy, with his tongue, his shining eyes, his chains. Everything is there. This is a great little Christmas that anyone could enjoy. I think you'd have to be particularly Grinch-like to not want to have this dangling from your Christmas tree. Obviously, this is just the tip of the iceberg when it comes to Temu's horror movie content, as well as all the rest of the weird and the wonderful products that you can find on there. And of course, we'll be more than happy to share some more of those with you down the line as we pick them up. Be sure to let us know in the comments about your own personal Temu shopping experiences and any kind of weird, strange things that you've found that we may have missed. And it goes without saying that if you are from Temu, feel free to send us more weird and wonderful stuff. We're happy to cover it. I'm not saying we're going to say it's good, but we're happy to cover it. Thanks once again for watching. If you enjoy this kind of strange, random, oddball content, make sure that you hit that subscribe button, that you press the like button. Every little bit helps to keep this channel progressing and keep us moving forward. Leave a comment if you enjoy it, and if you can see your way clear to supporting us through Buy Me a Coffee or Patreon, all the better. As I say, we don't have a lot of money to spend on cheap rubbish, so every penny goes towards making more videos of this nature. See you again soon.